That is courage, and I'm honored to introduce this legislation in the Senate that's designed to strengthen awareness among young women about the risk of breast cancer. And there were several reasons that I wanted to do this. The first is, of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I got to know Debbie well during the past year. She came to Minnesota. Anyone that comes to Minnesota, we like her. But she also is the mother of 3 young children. She is a leader in Congress, and she spent the last year campaigning fearlessly for first Senator Clinton and then President Obama. And through it all, she was fighting for her own life. I can't even begin to say how proud I am of Debbie, not only because of the courage and strength she's shown in fighting her own breast cancer, but in the courage and strength that she's showing others by showing them that she's willing to come out to talk about this in this way as a member of Congress and to get something done for all of them. But I have to say all of this is entirely consistent with the work that Debbie does. We had a little girl die in the Twin Cities. She sat on a swimming pool drain and over 6 months died. And it was just this horrible tragedy in our state. And then I found out that Debbie had long been sponsoring a bill in the House to do something about pool safety. And the bill in the Senate had been just sort of sitting around, as can happen in the Senate, for a number of years. And we were able to work together to get that bill passed. And the proudest moment I still had in the Senate was calling that little girl's dad and telling him that that bill had passed. And it wouldn't have happened without Debbie Wasserman Schultz. That's the kind of courage and perseverance she has. A second reason I'm honored to support this legislation is that you all know the state of Minnesota is world-renowned when it comes to medicine. We're the home to highly respected medical institutions like the Mayo Clinic. But as a state, we're also consistently ranked as one of the healthiest states in the country. We believe that health care isn't just about taking care of people after they've fallen sick. It's also about high-quality preventative care and access to information that allows individuals to make the decisions that they need and the healthy choices that they must make to take care of themselves. While Minnesota has among the highest incidence rates of breast cancer, we also have among the lowest rates of breast cancer deaths. There's a reason for that. The reason is simple: early detection. It works. This leads me to the third reason why I'm honored to support this legislation in the Senate, and Debbie's already mentioned it, and that's that the statistics on breast cancer are still staggering. Last year, over 180,000 new cases were diagnosed in the United States, and more than 40,000 American women died from breast cancer. But ultimately, none of us are here today because of those statistics. We're all here because of real people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Real people like members of our families or our neighbors or our friends or our coworkers, real women who've woken up one day to learn that their lives will never be the same. Now, I'm getting sick and tired of hearing newspaper obituaries of young women in their 20s or 30s or 40s who've died of breast cancer, often leaving behind children, grieving families. It only makes sense that women, especially young women, should have access to the best information and the best support possible to protect themselves against this disease. With this legislation, I believe we can do something about it. Thank you, and thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce Maimah Karmo. Maimah is a 2-year survivor of breast cancer and founder of the Tigerlily Foundation, an organization focused on providing hands-on support to young women affected by breast cancer. After being diagnosed with breast cancer, Maimah founded the organization to educate, advocate for, and empower young women. And I can tell you that the meeting that we had, our first meeting, was really, in Jewish, it's called Basheret, because she almost didn't come to the meeting that I spoke at, and it was right when we were in the process of developing the plan that we had for this legislation. And so I'm so glad you're here to join us.
I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me. Everyone, thank you. I'm so happy to be here today. Before I begin talking, I'm actually really emotional and overwhelmed because 2 years ago I got a call that no woman ever wants to get. My doctor called me to tell me that I had aggressive breast cancer. It was a beautiful day outside, just like this one, fresh air, sun was shining. And she called and said, Maimah, you have aggressive breast cancer and you need to see a doctor as soon as possible. My first thought was of my daughter, Noelle, who's sitting right here. Noe, would you join me, please? My first thought, she's shy. My first thought was I cannot die and leave her without a mother. I was 32 years old and I had no idea. No one had told me that I could get breast cancer at 32 years old. Within a month, I had my breast surgery. Within another month, I'd had chemotherapy and I was bald laying in bed. Within the next month, several months, I had radiation. My life was saved because my mother at 13 years old took me aside and said, Maimah, you have to learn to do breast examinations. And I asked her, Mom, what in the heck is that? What is a breast? I don't have breasts. I have little nips. I don't have breasts. Yes. They're like cold sores. I don't want to look at anyone looking at them. And she said, you have to come to me. Let's talk about this. And I wanted to show you what your breasts feel like. She said, women get lumps sometimes, and sometimes they're okay. They belong there. Sometimes they don't belong there. But what's critical, Maimah, is that you know what your breasts feel like. So if you get a lump that's bad, you'll know. And I said, Mom, how will I know if the lump is a good lump or a bad lump? She said to me, you'll know. And so 18 years, fast forward 18 years, I'm in the shower one day, taking a shower, music's playing, Diana Ross, enjoying myself. And then I feel this lump and my world just went a few shades darker. My first words I thought in my head was my mother's voice. I heard her voice saying, you'll know. And I knew instantly it was breast cancer because I knew I had done my exams for 18 years relentlessly. I didn't need a sticker on my shower window, on my shower or on my mirror or in my car. It was part of my lifestyle. So I knew that I had something wrong with me. I went to see my OBGYN and she said, I think this needs to be taken care of, but go see a surgeon. And the surgeon looked at the mammogram results and said, I think it's a cyst. You can't have breast cancer. You're too young to have breast cancer. You're a young mother, you're working, pursuing an MBA, you cannot have breast cancer. We'll do an aspiration, but I want you to come back in 6 months and then we'll look at it then. So we did the aspiration and it failed. The lump did not aspirate, but she insisted that I could not have breast cancer. She was a doctor and I was just me. I didn't know anything. I trusted her. And so I went home. Within 6 months, the lump doubled in size. I went to see her again, and I said, can I please get a biopsy now? The lump is bigger. I'm having night sweats. I'm very tired. I'm a single mother, and my I want to play with her on the weekends. I don't want to be on the couch sleeping and tired. Can you please do a biopsy? And she said, no, let's do a reaspiration. Tell the nurse you want to schedule a reaspiration. So the nurse and I were talking. I said, schedule a reaspiration/biopsy. She'll get mad, but it's my life. I have to be in control and in charge of my life. So I went back the next day, or the next weekend. She performed the biopsy. She was very upset with me. And she called the next day, February 28th, 2006, at 4:45 p.m. to say, Maimah, I'm very sorry, you do have breast cancer. You have to get treatment right away. I'm sorry. I went home and looked in the mirror that day, and I said, look at me, I can't have breast cancer. I look normal. I eat healthy. I run 6 miles a day. I eat my broccoli even though I hate it. I drink my water. I'm on the Stairmaster going at it I can't leave my daughter. But what was important was that I found a lump in time. And so I went through my treatment and surgery, and radiation, and chemotherapy. And I had to tell my daughter at 3 years old, I believe in being honest with her, so I said, no, Mommy's going to be sick for a while. But we're going to be a partner in this. You're going to support me and I'll support you.